Happy Asexual Reproduction Day.
All right.
That was nice. That was both grab.
All right. So let's see. Okie doke. So look at the bottom down here. Let's see what you remember from asexual to sexual. And then we're going to go to the back of this. And then we'll get up and you guys have a gallery walk where you're going to look at different organisms and how they reproduce asexually or maybe sexually. Okay. Most of it's asexual. All right. So how many parents? All right. So let's put 1 there for asex. All right, how many parents for sexual? 2. Okay. What type of cells are involved? Okay, so which ones use body cells and which one uses sex cells?
Sex cells is
body
sexual.
cells is for asexual.
Yeah, and sex cells is for sexual.
All right, so we're going to put body / another word is somatic. That means the same thing. So that means to end your body cells, you just grow a baby off your body. Okay, so a sexual gametes, which is another word for sex cells, right? Now, if it's a fungus, they reproduce both ways, okay? Most of them. So they don't call it egg and sperm, they call it plus and minus, okay? If it's a plant, we call it pollen and egg, and flowers or combs. And then they reproduce asexually too. So there's some different names, but either way, it'll be gametes, which are sex cells. All right, what cell division makes body cells? Diploid. All right, so diploid, and what was this? What kind of cell division? Meiosis or mitosis?
Mitosis.
All right, so mitosis is what you're going to use to make body cells and also your asexual baby, okay, or offspring. And then for gametes, to make sex cells, some people call it meiosis, or you could say meiosis. I'm going to say meiosis because it starts with me, okay? Because MI starts the other way. So sometimes people get them flipped. So meiosis is making sex cells, and that's tomorrow. We'll talk about that. And then mitosis is just a continuation off of what we did last week. All right, now here's the kicker. How do the offspring's DNA compare to their parents?
That would be the exact same as asexual. And then your sexual is half and half.
Good. So exact clones, identical to parent. Good. Okay, so no genetic variation is called. They're going to use the words genetic variation. So there's no differences at all. But for sexual, because you get half and half, and you get your own combo, you're going to say genetically different, which equals variation. And that's the word they keep saying. In fact, that's what was on Lily's test on Friday, she said. She said the connection, what is the connection between meiosis and genetic variation and survival? Like, oh, my students can answer that when we get to that. So think about it. What if we were all clones? All humans had the exact same DNA. How would that affect your survival?
It would make it down.
Why?
No, it would make it more.
I think it would
know what our DNA is, so we can know how long in our life.
What if there was a virus though, and it came and it just it would wipe everybody out if we were all genetically the same?
There'd be no one.
So the difference is, y'all, the fact that sexual reproduction offers different combos. So maybe Nigel has the combo that you would survive that virus. I don't. I would be wiped out. But if you had the combo that would help you to survive that virus, then it's because sexual reproduction helped you out. So we all don't want to be exactly the same. It's kind of another alternative. We don't have that choice as mammals. We can't do that. So that's genetic variation. It only deals with sexual. There's none of that for asexual. All right, so let's see. If we go over here, what we're going to do is draw a line. Just leave enough space beneath her feet, okay? And this is our sexual life cycle, but we're not doing that yet. We're going to look at asexual first, and we're going to put that down below right here. We're going to use those notes to be able to then get up and y'all look at some different examples. Okay? All right, so this is all asexual types.
Where is this out on the paper?
On the back of your flip book.
I know, but like, is it at the top or it's at the bottom, right?
See like where her feet are, just, yeah, come down about, I don't know, half an inch or something. It looks like it's more, but it's not. Okay, so we're gonna fill in what these different types are. So if it's bacteria or protists, one-celled organisms, all they do is split in half. It looks like mitosis. And that's called binary fission. Okay, so binary, what does bi mean? What number?
1, no 2.
2. Bisexual, binary, bicycle. So 2. Fission means to split, so it just means split in 2. So this is where bacteria and protist split into 2 offspring. All right, so it looks like this. Here's the parent, bacterium, and it's going to split into 2 clones of itself, okay? Perfect clones, perfect size. Travis, you get this? Get your picture so you can go around. So identical copies of itself. So here's offspring 1 and 2 right there. Thing 1 and 2. Only unicellular organisms, okay? Because you're going to get a multicellular looking example too. Okay, so if it was another option is budding. All right, so if you could bud, you would actually grow a baby off your side. Okay, yep. Grow, because we don't say fungus babies, we just say offspring. So grow an offspring off side of body. Okay, so this is yeast. Looks like this. And that's its little bud, its little baby growing off the side. And if it gets big enough, it'll just fall off. It'll be like, yeah, you growing one off here, and all of a sudden you get this big bulge looking tumor thing, and then it starts to have a face, then it can talk to you, and then it gets big enough, it has arms and legs, and it just drops off and walks away. Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
That's nasty. Yeah, that's.
It would look like an alien thing, but it would look like you. It would be a perfect clone of you.
Like when you was a baby? Or like
Yeah,
right now?
no, it would be, well, we can't do it because these animals, once they bud off, they're mature. So here's another example. Hydra looks like this.
Oh, you showed us that with it.
Yep,
Budding off of this side.
yep, here's a baby. A hydra is related to a sea anemone. It looks like a tree. Now these things are only half the length of your fingernail. But they're related to sea anemone and jellyfish. And what they do is they bud this little baby off their side, and when it gets big enough, it just swims away. Huh?
Isn't that what you
All right, so cactus, plants will do something, we call it a different name, but plants do something similar to it, yes, yes. But sea anemones and hydra, these are tentacles. So what do they do with their tentacles? Right, mostly catch food, they sting, they don't have any eyeballs. So they're just like doing this, stinging their food, bring it into their mouth, digest it, whatever's left goes out the same hole. Okay, all right, so that's budding. All right, the next one is regeneration. If something can regenerate, what does that mean?
Recreate?
Yeah, it grows back. So regeneration is when an animal is cut in two and both sides form into a new, you form 2 babies or 2 offspring. An example is a sponge. I'll show you the sponge. If this sponge was alive,
What about a starfish?
Is that a real sponge?
yeah.
What about a starfish? Would it work the same way as a
What about
starfish?
starfish?
How do you keep them alive?
This is very dead.
So I mean, like, if you want to keep them alive.
Here's a starfish.
Yeah, was SpongeBob living? Like, you can see I have water to live.
Y'all look, we're still on the y'all capacity. That's just a starfish. We're gonna draw a starfish picture for regeneration.
Is it like that?
All right, so
If it's underwater.
yeah, this has to have, it gets its oxygen from the water through diffusion. So, and this does too. It has no lungs, it has no gills, it's all diffusion. So if you cut off an arm, it grows back its arm.
So what would you call SpongeBob?
Yeah.
Is SpongeBob like one of those?
SpongeBob would be like this.
I just said that.
I know. So they have no eyes, they don't move. When they're adults, they're stuck.
SpongeBob is not real.
There's no mouth. They filter feed through the holes and the water goes out the top.
So how do they get food?
They filter feed.
So how's that?
So they have little cilia, kind of collar cells in here, and it forms a current, and they pull the water through here. They trap the little food particles, and their cells digest it and bring it into the little animal, and the water comes out the top. So there are sponge farmers in the world, and what they do is they cut up the sponges, they get them off the ocean, bless you, they cut them into pieces, drop them back down in the ocean, and each one will grow into a new sponge.
Why do they do that? What's the point of that?
It's all because that's the easy way to get more sponges, and they reproduce asexually. So they also reproduce sexually. They make sperm and egg, but they're hermaphrodites.
So
They have male and female parts.
Is it alive? So why is it in water?
That's a pantry.
That's a preservative. That's alcohol.
Patrick and that's SpongeBob.
Exactly. I didn't even think about it that way. You're right. Okay, here's something else. All right, see that starfish? Patrick in SpongeBob is actually talking out of its anus.
Out of his what? He's talking out of his what?
So on top of it, so what let's look at it. All right, its mouth is on the belly side.
Yeah.
Its anus is on the top side.
So its belly is on the back side?
Yeah.
Maybe he's walking upside down.
Oh yeah.
All right. Let's see. How did I write this in the other class? I put.
Why is it spiky?
Oh,
Like is it spiky just to protect itself?
it is. Okay. So what's happening is for that one, if it was real, is
What's that?
if you split the multicellular animal, each side forms into an offspring. Okay, so here's a starfish, and you cut the starfish, and each side forms into a new starfish. Okay, so the deal is though, if you don't cut it through the middle, there's like an area that if you don't cut it through that, then all it'll do is grow back that arm. So you have to cut it through the middle. There's no blood. The planarian worm, it will prefer to pull itself apart if it can't find a mate. Okay, so all these are sexual too. Okay.
Wait, so what happens with the starvation?
So you have to cut it through this, I think it's called the whorl disc, but it's right here in this middle part. You have to include part of that, and then each side will form into a new
So
starfish.
that's like the brain of it.
So
Kind of.
It doesn't have a brain. It doesn't have a brain.
so if you cut it in half, you
Um,
make it two.
Right. It'll grow back. Okay, so that's regeneration. Plants put vegetative propagation, and this is for plants only. So how can y'all remember? How can you remember plants? Travis, stop.
I didn't do nothing.
Vegetation, plants. So that's how you can remember. So y'all know what bulbs are? Like a garlic bulb or onions?
Yes.
And those are the babies that grow off of it. So it looks like budding, but it's not. Another example is, you know the grass on the football field? Y'all know what, like if you pull up or like if your cleat gets hooked on it, if you're out there and you pull up one of it, it looks like there's a whole big line of grass.
Yep.
Each of those is a baby of the same parent. So that's vegetative propagation. Another example is anybody ever taken a cutting, or you've seen like a grandparent or a parent take like a cutting of a plant and put it in water and it roots? Have you done that with a potato before? Have you ever seen potato grows roots?
Yeah, what is this?
That is asexual reproduction.
That's what that is?
Yeah, all you have to do is plant that and it'll grow into the plant.
Can you slide it over?
Yeah. So there's the baby and so that's a bulb. All right, the last one is sporulation. That one's only for fungus. All right, plants some have spores, but most of them have seeds. But for these, sporulation, we're going to talk about just the fungus. And here's mold. Now, what color is mold?
Like greenish.
It look greenish. It could look brownish.
It'd be like black.
Okay, so let's say this is the white fuzzy part of mold. That's not reproducing yet. When you start getting the little black tops or the bluish or that's the spores. The spores are on top. Every spore is one baby. And it's actually a capsule of spores. So when it spreads them out, it's going to be tons of babies. So that's why it looks like mold spreads really quickly. It's because it does. So what you're going to do is if you flip this paper over to the back, there are 7 different places you're going to visit. And you have to answer these questions about each one. Okay? You have to do some sketching. It took them, it took like 20 minutes for them to get through all of them. It may not take you that long.
We got 5 minutes.
That's there.
All right, so you're going to do as many as you can. All right, you can go anywhere. You got 1 through 7's over there where Fatima is.
How are we supposed to draw this?
All right, bring just the sperm and the egg for that one.
Can we do it on that?
Yes, do it on that. Take your flip book though. Damien, you can't have it. You have everything ready to go. You just need that paper. And you gotta take this with you.
What's the main number of offspring producing parents? What do you mean number of offspring from parents?
How many babies are made? Thank you. We're gonna do this. So, Tiandre, turn that sheet over on its back, on the back of that first paper. It's a gallery wall. Work.
Which one?
What,
You were at like 3 of them.
are we doing this?
All of those ones. You were at, I think,